Greetings and welcome to the Rotary Club of St. Albert Club Assembly for January 21st, 2021. This is the third of four club assemblies in the year. This front end of the recording was not recorded from the actual meeting, unfortunately, because of technical issues. So this is an attempt to re-record that content purely for sharing purposes and for the reflection in the minutes. What I will do is skip straight to an overview of our strategic plan or vision 2020-21, 3 lines of sight, which is our trifocal, and this is not news to our members, but this is a high-level reminder of what we agreed to at the beginning of the year. So our 3 lines of sight are eyes on the task, a look back, and focus forward. As the year rolled out, we really felt like this was more of our vision. It was a bit blurred, but we persevered and we pushed forward. We continued with our strategic plan. So eyes on the task, we looked at COVID-19 recovery support, not forgetting polio, our club profile, and as an example, our Rotarian Spotlight campaign, a new fundraising model, and we applied for district and other grants, leverage the technology, member engagement, and evolve and adapt. I'll look back since this is our 30th anniversary year. We wanted to record and celebrate our history, focus on past presidents, boards, projects, and those kinds of things, produce a document and or a website, create an opportunity to archive items in the museum, and identify highlights that could be shared as posts, reach out to past members, and for our youth programs, because the programs are canceled because of COVID, where are they now? And a focus forward, member engagement and recruitment, building our club into the future, tying in with our Rotary International theme, community Rotaract Club, a community Interact Club, planning for 21-22. So not a stop and a start, but to continue our activities this year straight into next year. And of course, keeping our eyes open and 360-degree, who needs our help in our club, in our community, in our network. So as an overview, our accomplishments, June to December, these are just some highlights. We welcomed 2 new members, Laura Charrois and Ed Heitzman. We applied and received 2 grants. One was for Stop Abuse in Families, and the other was for scholarships. We held a successful virtual gala and raised $40,000. We presented a Community Paul Harris Award to Bruce McPherson at the virtual event online, and also Doug Campbell, our Chair of Community Services, managed to track down Bruce McPherson on the golf course and presented the Paul Harris to him in person. We received this nice card from the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation, and it reads, "Dear Rotary Club of St. Albert members, on behalf of the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation, I would like to thank you most sincerely for your generous donation made in memory of Flora Fitness. Thank you for helping us to invest in the best people, programs, equipment, and research to advance children's health. Sincerely, Cora Carter, Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation." And that was a donation from club and many members of the club on their own, contributing through the Lemonade Stand initiative. We held another successful flag program, and it's building to be even better program this year. We were pleased to be able to partner on the chartering of a Rotaract Club of St. Albert, President Laura Charrois of the new Rotaract Club. We had many speakers throughout the year. This is just a sampling of a few that we were pleased to listen to in our morning meetings. And we celebrated our Teacher of the Month program. This is a summary of the teachers from the calendar year, January to December 2020. And we were pleased to be able to present to some of these in person, but mostly virtually. We did get some coverage in the St. Albert Gazette. So here's a sampling of some of the programs that were profiled. There was Rotary Barbecue Chefs outing and Laszlo's Mystery Meal on the right-hand side from the Rotary Camping, which was fun for all. We had a fairly small gathering in Lions Park, distanced, as you can see. We had a very successful tree planting. We're pleased to have members from other clubs join us on that day. We had a presence at the Cenotaph for Remembrance Day, Rotary Club of St. Albert Wreath. We did a virtual bell ringing to raise funds for the Salvation Army, the kettles, both in person and virtually online. And we had a fairly substantial group come together over a couple of days to build and distribute food bank hampers and to give gifts for kids. We had a virtual Christmas party online with quote unquote live music. The food was picked up at the restaurant, and we got together online and had a good time. We started our first two ads in our Rotary Spotlight campaign with Doug Webster and Laura Charrois. We were able to present a number of checks to worthy organizations, Stop Abuse in Families, the Food Bank, and United Way for their Tools for School program. And this one sneaks into the new year. This is a gathering of the 4 clubs at one of our morning meetings, Mornville, Saint City, Rotary Club of St. Albert, and the Rotary Club of St. Albert. I'm very pleased to be able to make this happen. And our goals, we are making some good progress on the majority of the goals. We still have some to identify the fund contributions of Polio Plus feedback from our foundation committee, but you can see the progress there is really quite substantial. And the thank you for being able to achieve all of those things goes to our club members, and congratulations to our club members for what we've been able to achieve as a group. At this point, we went into a vote for President-elect 21-22. Jody Swanson was nominated by the selection committee, and she agreed to let her nomination stand. There was a call for nominations from the floor. There were no nominations. There was a vote, and the vast majority of the individuals present voted in support of Jody being president-elect for the 21-22 year. Next, we went into motion, and this was for the History Project and to support covering the cost of administrative support in production of identified documents and archive. And details were supplied, commit up to $10,000. There's a breakdown of this budget, and the balance of the recording from that meeting starts at this point. So you can see part of the conversation and goes straight into the vote.
500. Ann and I have had some discussions about how we could save money, or just exactly what it is. She thinks at the moment it may not cost that much. I don't know, but we may need to hire somebody. And if we can't get outside funding, then I think we will need somebody to set up that archive, other than just put it in a box and put it on a shelf. And I would like to have an archive that we could access that's been cataloged correctly. So that's just an example of where I think we may be able to defer some of the budget.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jackie.
Alan, I also want to make a comment. I sit on the committee, Mark. I sit on the historical committee with Alan, and just listening to the previous speaker from the city of Edmonton gives us a new avenue to explore some cost savings in my mind, because they've done it and they have some history. So there looks to be ways that not to lower the budget, but to maybe use it more efficiently.
Thank you, Anita.
Yeah, Mark, it's Myron here.
Myron?
Just had a question, maybe I missed it, but is the plan, once we get this up and running, maybe this is to the committee, to Al, then every year it gets updated? And is there going to be kind of an annual cost associated with that that'll have to be built into our general budget?
That's a good question.
You're still on mute, Alan?
Beg your pardon. My take on this, depending upon what changes might need to be made, but I think we've developed a template that we should be able to fill in each year, just as one of the responsibilities for the president and the board of directors. So it shouldn't require somebody to continue to work on this as a staff member.
Questionnaire for those people.
Yeah. Just part of our ongoing processes of retaining our records.
Yeah.
Like we do with minutes of meetings. So does that make sense? You know, for instance, if we take on a project, then I would presume that whoever is the chair of a project will give us a report. It may only take a paragraph to explain what we've done. At the present time, we've had lots and lots of projects that we have no idea that we did it. We've lost the memory.
Okay, no, that's good. Thanks.
Thank you, Myron. Thanks, Alan.
Mark, Laszlo made a point that should be, I think he should maybe clarify it just on the membership dues, where the actual funds are actually coming from.
Okay.
Laszlo, if you don't mind.
Thanks, Andre. So I don't know if you remember Frank Posper's comment a few weeks back, is that ultimately this comes from our membership dues. So if there is an ongoing cost, that's where it's going to be coming from, because it's not going to come from fundraising for our projects. So just so everyone's clear that if membership dues have to go up by $10 or $50, whatever the case may be, that's where it's going to come from.
Thank you, Laszlo. Anybody else? Seeing none, let's go to the votes. Mr. Emery, if you would, please.
1622. We're up to 33. 90% of the people have voted. And the poll is closing in 3, 2, 1.
And the vote has passed. Thank you, everyone, for your involvement and for the discussion. Appreciate the support. And Alan, you have
Mark,
your... Yes.
Mark, is it, given the discussion, is it possible to please have a report on the vote?
Sure. Emery?
There you go.
That's good. And Emery, just so you know, for Robert's rule, you do want to put down the percentage or the number of votes for, against, or abstain, and then it needs to be recorded in the minutes.
Can you not see the percentage right now?
You can, but you still need to put it in your minutes.
Okay, will do. Gotcha. Thank you.
Same thing for the president-elect nominee.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you, future president.
On behalf of the task force, I want to thank you for your vote of confidence. We'll try and live up to it.
I know you will. Thank you so much, Alan.
And the history project needs to take this little box off my hand. It's an antiquity. Some of you will know this, some of you will not. Putting your pennies in here. Any of you remember this box coming to your school? Anyway, so I do have it. This is from Farrell, and he wants to put it in our history project. So it's here. Come get it.
Thank you, Jody. Laszlo, if you wouldn't mind, the treasurer's report.
Sorry, I was drinking my beer there. Hang on. All right, I'm gonna share a screen. I'm just gonna give you a brief rundown. Basically, Mark said keep it simple for us wonderful people, so I shall do that.
Thank you.
All right, this is our current assets. You see all that? Say yes. Somebody nod.
Can you enlarge it a bit?
Everybody put their glasses on.
Is it not?
It's just small on the screen. That's better.
That's better.
All right, sure. Okay, so this is our current assets. I've been taking advantage of our district foundation for any money donated, so that's why we have $8,200 there. Our current account, this is where our 50-50 money now has to go in the casino account, and we have savings for next year for a total of $162,000, and just some current liabilities like the payable for 50-50 for our Chase the Ace and club services. Now, club admin, this is how much dues we've collected. There's still some members still paying some dues, but that's fine. Sergeant at Arms, you're you're above budget, which is nice, but your Chase the Ace is below budget. So hey, we'll give you 50-50 for marks. That's how much we've collected. This is how much expenses we've done for administration from our club dues. So year's not over yet, but that just gives you an idea where our club dues go. Programs, I allocated $65,000 to our budget for the programs this year. Community Services has spent $7,200 of $15,000, leaving $7,700 left to spend. Youth Exchange, we budgeted 12, but really there's no money being spent there because there is no exchange student. International Services has yet to provide me with anything for this year, and Vocational Services for scholarships and service above self spent about $6,700, still leaving $8,200 available. So that's kind of, we haven't spent $4,200 in our available budget for this year so far. So that's just for the club members to know. Our fundraising, a couple of interesting little things about this. This row here is everything we've raised so far this year minus our expenses. But I want to make it very clear that the virtual gala, which supposedly should have happened in March, fundraise for this year, happened in this July. So then I adjusted all the totals to this is what we've actually raised for this year, subtracting the virtual gala. So far we sold 321 flags. Our virtual 50-50, we raised 10,700, but our net was about 2,300 after we paid out our 50-50 winner and our donations to the Goodwill. So that's just to give an idea. And then we're doing a virtual wine tasting I'm sure we'll discuss later today. And I think that's it. Yeah. So just so the fundraising committee knows, we need to raise an additional $29,030, this year. That's our goal. Any questions? Going once.
Laszlo, what's the time frame for that 23,000? Like, what's the year end?
What's our year end?
No. What is our year end?
June 30th is our year end.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we have fundraising issues, Laszlo, or not issues, fundraising plans that will get us that 30,000?
Well, the flag program in itself will raise a minimum of 25,000. We're up to 16,000 now.
Okay.
We're hoping to raise 20,000+ with the virtual gala coming up here in March that we're going to discuss. I'm hoping later today.
Yeah.
And then any other ideas. So there's some coming. So just stay tuned.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Thanks.
Thanks, Anita.
Anybody else? Great job as always, Laszlo. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Membership. Craig, if you would please.
Okay, good evening. So unlike most meetings, I actually have a couple things to talk about tonight. So I'll just talk for a few minutes. I'm going to turn the floor over to Stacy, who's going to address a couple of things also within membership. So I sent an email out yesterday covering a bunch of things. I'll rehash, I'm not going to go over all of them now, but I'm going to just cover some of the highlights, bring you up to speed on our membership campaign plan as you will. First off, I'd just like to acknowledge that again, the email John put out, highlighting the advantages to becoming or to is of family membership. So we have 2 family members, John, Kathy, and Laura and Andre. If you haven't seen John's email, it spells out, you know, there's some the definite benefits of not just becoming a club member. Of course, the club is a family. We're a very social bunch, and families are a big part of that in participating. But there's a number of advantages to becoming a member on that. So if you haven't seen it, have a look at John's email. He put it out last weekend, I believe.
Craig, can I just toss in there for most
Absolutely.
of us, we actually prefer our spouses to our actual members, so might as well just let them become members.
Well said. Secondly, I want to talk to you about our campaign plan. We had a brainstorming session at our last membership meeting. The aim of which is, you know, we've talked for a while, or I've talked for a while, you know, when we get back together and when we have meetings as normal, and, you know, we can bring people in and see what our meetings are like, and they can see the energy, and that'll bring people in. Well, if it wasn't apparent before, it certainly is now, that we're not going to be getting back to normal meetings at the Sturgeon or wherever anytime soon. So we had to pivot and come up with an alternate plan. So what the committee has come up with is essentially that the club roster has been divided into team groups. So each team or group is led by a member of the membership committee. There's 8 of us total. And that there'll be more to follow on that. I'm not going to go through who's in whose team tonight, but it was kind of randomly split up so that there's about groups of 8 and 1 9, I believe. The intent is for the group is for these teams or groups to meet and do a bit of brainstorming themselves. Come up with, ideally, we'd like each person to think of someone who might be a good addition to our club. There's some tools and some promotional material that can assist with that. Stacy's going to talk about one of them shortly. Ideally, of the 8 groups, if we could bring in, if we could nominate like 1 per member, and then per group, if 1 per group could join the club by the end of June, that would take our membership up to 73, which would be awesome. Promotional material. Now, you may have seen it. A couple of things. There's a brochure. There's different iterations of it. The latest one gives a good summary, and thanks to Mark for putting that together. Talks about the club, what did it do, highlights a few of our projects. There's some pictures in there of some of our activities, including, I think, a picture of the trip to the legislature a couple of years ago. Different, you know, community services that we have done. So again, very good tool, easily printable. So feel free to use that when talking to someone, or when they say, hey, what is Rotary? The second promotional bit, I got to give a tip of the hat here to my main man, Jason Bondarovich. Came up, this is something that he developed. So what it is, it's a little sign, and he stuck that on his front yard. Say, I'm your neighborhood Rotarian. Ask me about Rotary. And it actually generated, actually, well, Jason, you're on the line. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Okay, I guess I have to.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you.
So my thought process here was that I have a really hard time bringing up, hey, I'm a Rotarian to my neighbors and stuff like that. So I wanted something to sort of spark a conversation with my neighbors to get to know them better. So that's where I sort of came up with this idea. And Craig put me on the spot one night and I wasn't paying attention. So I also had to come up with something quick to sound like I wasn't paying attention. So this is what I came up with. So the purpose of this is just to signify, hey, I'm your Rotarian in your neighborhood and to come talk to me about it. So when I'm out chatting with my neighbors, they'll see the sign, and then I'm hoping that would spark the conversation, and then I can tell them about Rotary and hopefully maybe recruit some more people that way. That's all. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Jason. And apologies for doing the spot, but you nailed it. And again, well done. So there's two things here. There's one that's a little like a lawn sign, and then we've also drawn out from that a window sticker for those of you that have businesses or somewhere that you could put a window sticker. So again, those are some of the promotional material that's available. I'm going to call on Stacy to talk about one of the other tools. It goes by a couple different names. You can call it a treasure map or a circle of influence. Just to talk about that briefly, Stacy, and also about Rotary Day.
Sure, thanks. And Mark, can I share my screen?
You absolutely can.
Okay. Sorry if it's a dog's breakfast to start. Let's just go like this. Okay, minimize this. So we're all members of Rotary and part of a global movement of 1.2 million people of action, as we call ourselves. And so I just wanted to start this conversation by keeping three things in mind. That Rotary is really made up of people, and we help a lot of people in the community. Fundamentally, when we're trying to make changes and grow, there are three ways to grow a club, and it all starts with the people. So you can attract new members, you can retain the members that you have, or you can create new clubs like we've done with Rotaract. And teamwork makes the dream work. So we're really excited as members of the membership committee to engage you individually in helping us generate some ideas of how we can share the opportunity to join Rotary and be part of the global Rotary family. So the options that have been shared are great, some marketing materials. And I wanted to start today by having just adding some questions to the Zoom to get your thinking caps going. And I'm not sure how to do that. Here we go. I think I have to stop sharing my screen for this to happen. Chat. So I'm going to pop 3 questions into the chat. When you think about Rotary, what excites you these days about Rotary? Just take 10 seconds to think about that. And if you want to share in the chat, you're welcome to. So I'm excited about Rotary's new avenue of service, and I'm excited about how we're elevating our youth programs and Rotaract. And that makes me really feel great and about the possibilities of Rotary and attracting millennials, the young professionals to the movement with those 2 decisions that were made at the CAP. So just take a mental note about what excites you about being in Rotary these days and how that makes you feel. And then think about how you feel about sharing the opportunity that Rotary presents. I'm trying to share. Okay. So we talked about this tool that was shared in the email. It's the Circles of Influence, and we're borrowing this tool from our partners at the Rotary Employment Partnership with Inclusion Alberta. I first used this tool to talk about who I might invite to learn about the Rotary Employment Partnership, and I know Andre is very involved in that. So it's really about putting the fun in fundraising, and that when you take an approach of friends asking friends, think about Kevin Bacon's 6 degrees of separation. It's basically a concept that every 2 people are about 6 handshakes away from connecting with each other in the world. And so we want to embark on this process of brainstorming with those things in mind. So we're meeting on Monday. We want to explore how your circles of influence can fill the pipeline of people that we might invite to Rotary. So I want to explain that treasure is both a noun and a verb. And so we're looking for people who that are valued in their workplace, their models of integrity. They're people like all of you. We're looking for people who have the time, talent, tools, ties, and testimonial to give to worthy causes and projects. So you may have met these people, when you ask a Rotarian why they got involved, it's to contribute, give back to community. But often when you ask Rotarians what they're involved in, they usually have a professional commitment, a personal commitment, kids commitments, sports commitments. I mean, it's pretty rare to find someone in Rotary that's only involved in one thing. They may even be part of other service clubs. We're looking for people who see value in the people and organizations that we serve and in the things that we do, having fun in fellowship and also through service. So with that in mind, these pictures generate a lot of ideas for me. So on the left, we have a former business associate, a former person that I volunteered with that became a Rotarian, and a mentee that I worked with in my job. So take your circles, there's 5 of them, and you label them how you wish. Think about personal connections, professional connections that may be interested in Rotary. These pictures also speak 1,000 words. On the left, I have my 2 sponsors from the Rotary Club of Edmonton, Randy Boissonneau, who turns out I knew in high school through the Mornville, and family is there. And Daryl Bako, of course, my sponsor in this club. And on the right, it makes me think of family. It makes me think of my alumni experience at Royal Roads. It makes me think of my engagement with Caldar Leadership and the wonderful people that are also Rotarians in Pauline Perot. So where can you find people like you that may be interested in joining Rotary and getting engaged? These pictures also inspire me to think about my circle's influence. On the left, we have the daughter of a Rotary Integrity Award winner, Michelle Hordal, the president and CEO of Adaptabilities. And she learned how to make crepes from our Rotary Youth Exchange student, Gregoire, who lived with the bakers for a little bit. And on the right, we have Terry Brown, I believe, from the Rotary Club of Westlock, and my very first introduction to Rotary, a family friend, Pascaline, who lived with me in Montreal and was a Rotary Youth Exchange student here in District 5370, 30 some years ago. So thinking about all that, share in the chat, who are you thinking of to fill your Rotary circles of influence so that when your fellow member reaches out to engage you in identifying 1 or 2 people that we could talk to invite to an informal coffee chat, a virtual coffee chat or a wine night, or even to join us on February 23rd when we will be celebrating Rotary's anniversary, as well as our partnership with the United Nations. And this is a Rotary International project that happens every year. And this year they'll be naming 6 people who are champions of health through the Rotary International projects that support our partnership with the World Health Organization as well. So lots of opportunities to get you thinking about who we might be 2 to 6 degrees away from that we could invite to join Rotary. So thank you. And if there's any questions, we welcome your feedback. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Thank you, Stacy. Anything else from you, Craig?
Mark, can I just make a point on the membership thing?
Andre, please, go ahead.
I think the one thing we got to remember is that the group of individuals that are in this club currently it's a very interesting group in that it's the quality of the individuals are ones that we're really looking for. So I think, to me, it's not about quantity, it's about the quality. And, you know, in terms of gathering people and whatnot that we look at, I think that's all great. I just want to keep remembering that, because I think Rotary a few years back had a fairly strong membership drive. And I think we have to recognize that the individuals that make up our club right now are very unique. And I think if we can just remember being about quality as opposed to quantity, I think, you know, I'd rather have 5 quality Rotarians as opposed to 25 non-engaged Rotarians. That's a real important point for me personally. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, Mark, it's Myron here. Just a question. Has the corporate memberships, is that still part of the membership? Craig, over to you, or is that kind of on the back burner because of the pandemic?
It's still a possibility to attract corporate memberships, Myron. It's not something we've been pushing, particularly with the pandemic. But yeah, it's still an option.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Thank you, Craig.
Can I just say something on that note?
Yeah.
There are some companies that are doing quite well in COVID. And we learned a short time ago that Costco, for example, provided some money to a not-for-profit within St. Albert because they're one of the big box stores that are doing well. And so I think there is an ability to get some sponsorship from some of those places that actually have done well through COVID. We can't assume that everybody's not doing well through this crisis because some are doing very well. So I don't know who takes that on, but there is a possibility for some partnership exploration there.
Thank you, Jackie. Any other comments? Nope. Okay. Programming. Daria isn't able to be with us this evening, but she said, I really don't have a lot to updates to provide. The calendar is booked into April and the website is up to date so people can see all upcoming presentations. As usual, I'm always looking for feedback, comments, suggestions from the group. And I offered my time and support to the person who is incoming in her role to ensure a smooth transition. She had fun bringing presenters in and hope people enjoyed presentations we had, or at least most of them. I will continue to book for April to June or until the incoming person takes over. So that is Daria and programming. Community service, Doug.
Thank you, President Mark. You covered off in your presentation all the events that we took place. So I will look moving forward. At this point, we have started a conversation with the City of St. Albert to see if there might be a spring environmental project that we might be involved with. And so we're on their list to contact. The second, at our next meeting, we will be considering 2 grant requests from 2 organizations in the community. And then just to remind members that if they are associated with organizations that are needing funds, we currently have funds left from our COVID response fund that we set aside. And if anybody needs or wants to chat about how to go about that, they can contact me. And that's pretty well my report. We continue to enter our volunteer hours in Club Runner, so that we are recording there what our projects are, and recording the project value in terms of dollars and a number of volunteer hours. So that would be my update.
Perfect. Thanks, Doug. Questions for Doug? Just like that. International, Mr. Dooley is not here this evening. Foundation, James, please.
All right, thank you, President Mark. Well done, President Mark or Emery, whoever did that voting thing. That was slick. I love technology. We're just making things funner and funner. That was excellent. Jason Bondarich, you got to get that Star Trek thing back going again. It looks a lot better than just your face there straight up. So if you could work on that. And another thing, if you want members to join, don't put a sign in your yard, just put a big pig roast. If you want me to come and do a big pig roast in your backyard, invite your neighbors, and then we can give them some beer and then tell them about Rotary. So just give that some thought as well. We'll go from there. Okay, it gives me great pleasure today. If you remember back in November, we had the Rotary Club of St. Albert Paul Harris Biannual Fellowship Award. And there was people submitted applications and the nominees. So if you give it a little history, we're going to present that. We're going to let the nominee out who won, and that presentation will be in April 22nd. Robert will give us a little bio on the winner. But if you remember, the potential winner honors an individual that demonstrates significant support for the wonderful work of the Rotary Foundation. The nominee should hold the same value and ethics in line with those of Rotary members as defined by the object of Rotary and the four-way test. And as a token of that, we're also going to give $1,000 to the winner to a charity of their choice. Nice job, Jason. That's better. Excellent. Okay, Mr. Gallant, are you available to give us a little, little background on our winner?
I think I'm over here there, James. Can you hear me?
I can hear you and see you. The screen is, there's something wrong with the screen because I don't know, the hair is a lot grayer than I've seen you in a long time. And I put some color on that screen or something for crying out loud.
Hang on here.
Okay. No, it's all good. It's
pushing that. I was going to put it down towards my desk. That's all good. Okay, very, it gives a great pleasure. This gentleman here that we chose this year is one of these secret gems in St. Albert. We see him at every fundraiser. We see him every time there's something going on in St. Albert. There he is in the background. Everybody here, he was a past Rotary member. He was, I'm not sure how long he was a member. It was a few years, way back in the 90s. And he got too busy, so he left Rotary. So now, when I brought it up to some of his friends, I brought it up to one of his good friends, John Farlinger. Me and John talked about this, and he was overjoyed, over the moon. The gentleman's name is John Liston. I mean, a lot of us know him because a lot of us are members of the 100 Men Club, and John was instrumental in getting that started. So the minute I told John Farlinger, the first thing John, within about probably half an hour, Farlinger just jotted, I said, John, if you know a few things that Mr. Liston has done, just jot them down and send them to me. Well, within 10 minutes, he had a 2-pager for me. So I'm just going to quickly read this. The idea is to present them to you guys tonight, and probably in a couple of months when things resume to normal and we can all meet together, we'll invite John Liston and his family to meet the club, and we'll do a formal presentation at that time. Here's what John Farlinger wrote about Mr. Liston. John Liston has been a vibrant and caring resident and leader in St. Albert for over 2 decades, and in that time has contributed hugely to many worthwhile community organizations. To use his quote, "I love to serve." As his children were growing up, John contributed his athletic and leadership talents in his role as hockey, baseball, and ringette coach. school parent council president, and involvement in numerous worthy community sports organizations and fundraisers. John is a former member of the board of directors of the Caritas Health Group, overseeing 2 acute care hospitals and 1 long-term care facility. He is also a former chair of the Sign of Hope campaign with Catholic Social Services. As a business coach and keynote speaker, John teaches character-based leadership and the principles of creating an environment in which people can be their absolute best. Most recently, John was a volunteer and a member of the finance committee of the Holy Family Parish in St. Albert, the board chair of Sports Central Association, which is a volunteer-driven Alberta-based charitable organization providing sports equipment at no charge to children in need, the chair of the Mark Spector Golf Classic, which is a fundraiser for Sports Central, and the co-founder and board member of the 100 Men Who Care, which I know a lot of you are familiar with because there's a lot of Rotarians in that bunch. The latter group, the 100 Men, was launched in 2016 and has made an incredible impact in the St. Albert community and its valued nonprofit organizations by raising over $380,000 in the last 4 years to directly help a wide variety of charitable organizations in the communities. These organizations include St. Vincent de Paul, the St. Albert Seniors, St. Albert Housing Society, the Salvation Army, the Sturgeon Hospice Association, St. Albert's Victim Services, Stop Abuse and Family, Wilderness Youth Challenges, the Jessica Martel Memorial Foundation, Sidekick Mentoring. During the COVID pandemic, the 100 Men, in cooperation with generous community members of St. Albert, contributed, on top of the 380, another $140,000 to the food bank and an additional $50,000 to the St. Albert Crisis Funds. John Liston, in conjunction with his 100 Men committee, have been instrumental in leading the efforts of this community organization the past 4 years, and the 144 member value his exceptional organization and leadership abilities, as well as his sense of humor. John is currently president of the Alberta Enterprise Group, a member-based nonprofit organization comprised of businesses across Alberta that represent major industries, companies, large and small. AEG Group advocates for public policy issues by providing advice to government, promoting sound policies, and providing forums for the exchange of ideas and best practices. As you see, and this is only what John Farlinger could think of the top of his head. So as soon as we get talk to his family and talk to more of Mr. Liston's friends, we'll have a proper presentation, and we'll all look forward to meeting him in April. Thanks, James.
Excellent. Thank you.
Nicely done.
Yeah, give it a little hand there, guys. Well done. Excellent.
Excellent choice, guys.
Okay, now I'd like to carry on with a few Paul Harris presentations. President Mark, Ken McRae and Frank are not here, but I'd like to kind of include them in the presentation. Maybe Emery, if you can just send them the video, and hopefully that's okay. Or what do you think, Mark? You okay with that? Or
I think we wait until they're here.
Wait until they're here. You got her. So we'll call upon Craig Mallon into the stage here, virtual stage. Craig, are you there, my friend?
I am indeed.
All right. The mission of the Rotary Foundation is to support the efforts of Rotary International and the fulfillment of the object of Rotary. Rotary International mission and the achievement of world understanding and peace through local, national, and international humanitarian, educational, and cultural programs. The programs of the Rotary Foundation include an array of projects that save and invigorate the lives of people around the world, enhance international friendship and understanding. Foundation programs provide food, potable water, healthcare, immunizations, shelter, and educational opportunities for millions of persons. Differentiating Rotary from many other organizations, these activities are funded, implemented, and managed by Rotarians and Rotary clubs around the globe. We have long recognized Rotarians who contribute to the Rotary Foundation, the arm of Rotary International, with them in many ways. Those who contribute a minimum of $100 per year are recognized as sustaining members. In this club, we have 37 members that are sustaining members from last year. At such time, their contributions total $1,000. They are recognized as Paul Harris Fellows in honor of Rotary's founder, and we present them with a certificate and a special pin and medallion. And if you just a little quick for Rotary, just the beauty of how Rotary fund works. When you give to the share fund, it stays in Rotary International for 3 years. And the money that's made through interest funds basically operations of the club, of the international club. At such time, after 3 years, that money, 50% of that money is given back to our district by way of grants. So it comes back to our community and our district. It's just a wonderful way, wonderful charity, and I'm sure happy to be proud of, and so many Rotarians are as well. Becoming a Paul Harris Fellow, however, is a milestone, not a destination. We ask those who become Paul Harris Fellows to continue supporting the foundation and recognize them as multiple Paul Harris Fellows. At such time, they contribute an additional $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation. With each additional 1,000, they are presented with a pin and a stone, either a sapphire or ruby, indicating the total level of their contributions. In our club, we have 38 members who have been previously recognized for such contributions. At such time, their total contribution is 10,000. They're recognized as major donors with a pin and diamond and a special crystal. In our club, we have 3 major donors. Our club all-time giving is $360,000. We have 10 members who are members of the Paul Harris Society. Paul Harris Society is members that donate over $1,000 per year to the foundation. President Mark and his team have committed for us to raise $15,000. Last year, we raised $19,500. And we are currently close to 13,000, so our goal is just about achieved. Another goal that I'll be hounding you within another month is those to be part of 100% every Rotarian every year, meaning every Rotarian gives a minimum of $20. So if you haven't done that and you're on this call, please give the $20. And if for some reason you choose not to, I won't get angry, but just let me know so that I know that I'm not to bug you. Otherwise, I'll be bugging you. What else? My other goal is to double our benefactors. A benefactor, we have current 6 benefactors. I'd like to see that to 12 benefactors. So that's just about double. We've had 2 more. So we're actually at 8 benefactors. A benefactor, you're wondering, what is a benefactor? Someone who in their will donates over $1,000 to the foundation, and it goes to the permanent fund. The permanent fund in Rotary International is close to $500 million currently. That interest, Laszlo, what's your math skills quick? 500 million, I think they're making like 7% interest or something, but I think it's over 20 million a year goes to funding international projects. So it's a great thing. So I'd like to see people commit that in their will. What else? Bequest Society is over 10,000 in their will. We have currently 2. I'd like to see 4 on that. Now, today we have the privilege of recognizing Craig Malland to the wonderful support of the Rotary Foundation. Craig, your contributions to the Rotary Foundation are reducing suffering, improving living conditions, and providing educational opportunities for young people somewhere in the world. Your gifts are truly selfless actions and demonstrate your commitment to Rotary, to the goals of world understanding and peace. Therefore, on behalf of the President of Rotary International and the Chairman of the Trustee of the Rotary Foundation, it gives me great pleasure to present you a Paul Harris Lapel Pin Level 1, appreciation for your generous contributions to the annual programs around Rotary, and on their behalf to extend our sincere thanks. Yes, everybody.
Yeah.
Hooray. Thank you, President Mark.
Thank you, James.
Oh, one thing you did ask me is upon death, if what happens to your points, your foundation points, because we always know that as soon as we're living, they're dying, we're dying. So if you become a major donor after 10,000, your points can be transferred over to your wife or your family or your designate. If you're under 10,000, then it's SOL.
Oh, so you can't designate those back to your club? No?
Sure.
Is it private?
What is that going on?
James, I actually need to write a will, and obviously giving $1,000 in my will is an easy thing to do. So is there a piece of paperwork you need to fill out? Do I need to show you my actual will? Like, how do we get that done?
I will send you, if anyone else is interested, to send me a note too, or I mean, I can send it out to everybody. Maybe what I'll do is maybe make it onto the website. Emery, do you think we could do that? Click a link on the website. I'll send it directly to you, Stacy, but also I'll send something to Emery and maybe he could put it onto the documents on the club somehow. Yeah.
Send it out to everybody.
Yeah, it was me, Kathy, James.
Sorry, Kathy. Okay.
Alan?
That's stupid.
When I did it, it was just a codicil to my will, which was drawn up by Ken Davidson. So maybe just check out with a lawyer, but then you can add it on just without having to put it into the body of your will.
Is Ken Davidson still doing wills?
He's willing, but I'm.
He's a judge.
Yeah.
He's a good judge.
I'm not certain whether he developed it himself or whether he got it from Rotary International.
All right, very good. Thank you, James. Well done as always. Fundraising and events. We have nobody here this evening, so this is going to be really quick. Isabel did a great job with the 50-50. The pool was 10,700. James won, so he's buying drinks for everybody. 2,500 went to Goodwill, and they matched it. So there's $5,000 that they are putting into a reclamation project in St. Albert. So great news all the way around. And then there was just under 2,500 that we are to allocate to projects as we see fit. So that will likely go back to community service. Kim Bugera is working on a wine tasting event that's going to happen on March 12th. So watch for details on that. I know that there's lots of people excited about that one. And Adrian is all over the Rib Fest, which is on June 11th, 12th, 13th. And he's been in touch with the Rib teams, and they are forwarding details within the next couple of days. So we should be able to take care of that as well. Any questions on any of that? I don't have any answers, so too bad. Youth. Dave, please.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, I just want to talk just briefly about the Community Interact Club there. It's definitely been an unusual and challenging year from that standpoint there. We previously had two very strong Interact clubs. We had ESME, which obviously they no longer have their high school, and Paul Kane, which just reaching out to the teachers there. It's just been, schools have just been challenging there. So we really haven't had any Interact clubs within the schools this year. So, but our Community Interact Club is definitely in the works there. And I am asking for some Rotarians or some people to help out a little bit here. We've had Jerry and Charlene on the inbound and outbound students has been fantastic, but we don't have a lot of people on the Youth Services Committee. So if anyone's interested, in the next couple of weeks, probably early February, we're going to get together and really kind of ramp up the planning and coordination of the Community Interact Club. So if there's any Rotarians out there that also have students in high schools or junior high that we can kind of leverage, that would be awesome. And then hopefully in the next few months, we can introduce the idea to the schools, maybe even launch a social media campaign or not sure what the spring will look like in these schools, but even go to the schools and have a presentation for the kids there. So it's definitely in the works. It's just been challenging with the schools this year, but yeah, if anyone would like to help out, or if anyone wants to send me an email or anything, it'd be great to have some more Rotarians the youth services committee and at least get the ball rolling and see where we can get with the community interact club there. So not sure whether it's going to be this spring or whether it'll be in the fall of the new school year, but at least if we can get the ball rolling, I think we can really get this going sooner rather than later, even with the pandemic that's going on. So, yeah.
Wonderful. We're heading in the right direction. Questions?
We are.
No questions for Dave. Well,
I just want to add a little thought. Just the joy of the community interact club means that we don't have to rely on teachers in a school, and the kids can come from wherever, and they can also be junior high and not just strictly high school students. So think of anyone you want to come out.
Great point.
I'll send an email out to the club too, see if we can get a few more people and then when the meeting's going to be, and if we can get a few people and get some ideas going and yeah.
One potential market, by the way, is homeschooling. Kids that are being homeschooled.
How would we get to them?
There's an association.
Aha. There we
go. There's a few associations. I have some connections. I can help you, Doug and Mark, if you want to be put in touch with them.
Actually, if you can connect with Dave, that would be awesome. Yep. Thank you.
Do it, Davey. Let's do it.
Okay.
Laszlo, you had some updates on the wine tasting?
Yeah, sorry, I was just having my beer there again. So Kim and I and Craig, we've had a good meeting with our past Rotarian and present Rotarian in Okotoks Valley. Thank you. We're going to be doing a wine tasting of 4 bottles of wine. That's for 120 guests. So we're looking for some virtual auction items so that we can do a silent auction. And Jody, stop laughing at me. We're doing a virtual auction, hopefully to raise some money there. But tickets will be like $150 for the wine tasting. And it's going to be March 12th. So if everybody came, plus you had one couple guest or something like that, we'd sell 120 tickets with all of our club members here. So I'm just putting it out there. We need auction items, please. We already have about 10 quality ones. Bob, thank you for dropping off stuff in my office. So it's going well. Any questions?
It'll be an evening event, obviously.
It's going to be an evening event. Yeah, I think it's a Friday night.
Yeah.
So you can sleep it off the next day or keep drinking all weekend, whatever you do. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you, Laszlo. Inbound, Charlene, I don't know if there's anything that you want to speak to. No, thank you. Jerry, anything from you?
No, short and sweet. We're still hoping to do it for next year, so all depends on Dr. Henshaw.
Fair enough. Well,
that's sad.
I do have one thing. Laura, you spearheaded the collecting together a box of things to send to Maddie. And she sent a card back to the club. So it says, "Dear Mark, dear club, I wish you all a happy new year. Let's hope that 2021 will be better and that I'll be able to come to a real life meeting. I miss you all a lot. Love, Maddie." And there's pictures of her and her family 2020 and 2021. It's funny how they're wearing exactly the same clothes in both years. Must be really tough in Belgium, but lovely pictures there. So thought I would just share that with you. Club services, Matt, please.
All right. Short and sweet. I'll get some little bit of interaction because we're late into this meeting here.
Can't hear you.
Is that a joke?
No.
Oh.
She doesn't joke about that.
Can everybody else hear me though?
I guess she means you're pretty quiet. is what she's trying to say.
Anita, I love you. You are awesome, Anita. Can you hear me right now? I love
can
you
hear
so much.
you.
You can turn the volume up on your little iPad. It's an amazing thing. Hit that little speaker button.
Where would that be located, James?
Well, touch your iPad somewhere. There's volume, man. I just promise you. Somewhere. I don't know exactly.
I gotta try that, okay?
Okay.
Right. Can I start again then, or what?
You do whatever you like.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Help me out here. Give me a thumbs up, that little reaction button on the bottom of your screen. If you occasionally like to have the odd beer every once in a while, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, all right. So you guys all just committed to our next club services event, which is February the 11th. We're doing a virtual beer.
He's having a beer tasting thing.
Doing a beer tasting with Endeavor Brewery. $17 gets you 4 beers. Optional item, $15 will get you a little snack entree of a bunch of meats. So email's been sent out. The event's set up on Club Runner. As of today, we have 11 people registered for the event. Hopefully we can get 20 plus. They're quite excited to host us. They've, managed through COVID, but could definitely use our help. So it's a very cost-friendly night at home. Hope to see you there. And on another note, if you don't have a will, my God, get your will done. Holy cow. Yeah. If you need a lawyer, email me. I can set you up with somebody.
Can I ask a question?
Hey, warn me before you do that.
So John and I both signed up for beer tasting, but there was the optional.
She's mad it's not here yet.
Where is it? The optional piece about the food. Do we email you, or like how do we? It was an option. So how do we do that?
Yeah. So all of your orders are going to go through Matt Atkins at Endeavor. So you're just going to send him an email or give him a call and say, yes, I'm coming. I want beer and I want food, or I just want beer. But it's all going to be, you're going to square up with him there for everything. And just so you know, it's the entrees, it's $15. That's enough food for one person. So you're going to have multiple people that want to eat, you'll probably want.
Okay. So email him directly, but the money for the beer, how do we get, do we pay you or we pay him?
You're going to pay him on the 11th when you show up and pick it up. And also because we had a few issues with Christmas dinner, we're going to pick up all of our food and our beverages before 6 o'clock. The event starts at 7, so that'll give everybody time to get their stuff and get home.
Okay. All right. Endeavor's got the best beer.
What I hear?
Yeah.
Awesome. Questions for Matt? Kudos for Matt. There you go. Rotaract. Laura, did you want to touch on anything this evening?
I don't really have anything to update. We had a really quick meeting tonight because our meetings are at 6:30 every second Thursday. So we had a real speedy half-hour meeting so I could be at this one too, which they were okay with. We didn't have much to talk about. Right now, I'm just working on, I got 4 of my members to do these little Instagram TV videos that we're going to be posting, just kind of answering some questions about Rotaract. So I'll be posting those throughout the next probably 2 months-ish so I can space them out. We started reaching out to people about general interest in a formal info session versus just inviting them to our meeting and answering some questions there. We have a little bit of interest, but not quite enough to generate an actual info session. We're thinking about maybe doing more of like a guest speaker event. I have a Rotaract friend in Detroit who just was a guest speaker in Munich, over Zoom in Munich for an event there. So I was thinking maybe bringing him in for an event, and then I could invite Rotarians in the whole district, but also kind of have it be an info session. So we're just trying to kind of gauge interest in something like that. If not, it'll just kind of be more come to our meeting and check us out. We also started gauging interest to places for That kind of art project that I mentioned to you guys a little while ago. We haven't heard back from too many places, and right now it seems that most places you have to have the art and then show them what you have, and then they kind of approve it or disprove it. So we're trying to work out that and see what we can do, but we're working slow and steady. We're here, and they're all really passionate, and we're working on grant applications, which is fun. Does anyone have questions? Myron has his hand up. I don't know if that's for me or for something else. It scares me if it's for me a little bit.
He's
No, that's fine.
Okay, that would be a no.
Okay.
So fabulous work, Laura. We are so excited that you're making progress and your team is cranked, because that spills over on us, and that's what we're all about. So anything we can do to support you, you let us know, because you're always there for us. And you know, some of the money that your dad has that he's spreading around, if he can put it towards the club, just let him go. We'll talk later, okay? Thank you.
I just paid her tuition, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Nice. Thank you, Laura.
Yeah, no problem.
History project I have on my list. I don't know if there's anything that you want to speak to, Alan, other than no, mute.
No, we've done what we need to do tonight. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Music Festival. Ian, do you have anything you want to cover?
Sure, I can give a quick update here. So we currently have 33 33 people who have signed up so far. The end of that time frame is on February 28th, and we're on track close to how it has been in previous years. It seems to be fairly slow, and then it seems to climb right towards the end there. So based on where we're at, I'm quite impressed that we have that amount so far. So that's really the update, and we will keep you in the loop.
Excellent. Questions for Ian?
If I may just add, we just signed and approved the same marketing deal with the Gazette that the music festival had last year. So that started pushing out yesterday. That's going to be print and a lot of online posts as well, right on their Facebook page, not just kind of like a little banner. They're posting out things as well. And the best way to spread that more than that and to really emphasize that is if you see a post from either our page, the music festival page that me and Amy have been running, or from the St. Albert Gazette, is to share it yourself on Instagram or Facebook. We're constantly posting, so you guys can also help get the word out by using your social media voice to help us out, because this final push on social media and Gazette is what's going to help us get those last registrations.
Laura.
Awesome. Thank you, Laura.
Laura, do you put put a banner in the St. Albert Chamber of Commerce newsletter that comes out all the time?
We do not have a deal with them for anything right now, but I can look into it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Laura. And we kept some of the best for last. Craig, in your dual role as incoming president.
Cool. So what, as I mentioned at last month at the general meeting, I wasn't ready at the time to announce my board. I'm pleased to say that I am now. Mark, if you have those slides that I sent you yesterday, if we could just go through them.
You got it.
Oh, and he's even updated it. So perfect. So Executive for next year. Very happy. First of all, I just want to say before I introduce my board, it's a challenging thing to pick a board. It's kind of like being, the best analogy I could use is general manager trying to pick a Team Canada hockey team where you've got a lot of all-stars and superstars and a lot of great people and a limited number of positions. So at the same time, I'm very happy with the people that have agreed to serve next year. There's a couple people that will be carrying on, as we'll see in a minute, and a few new members to the board as well. So myself as president, look forward to the wise counsel of Mark Dixon as current president, who will be next year's past president. Just confirmed tonight, Jody, and also super happy that Emery is staying on as secretary and that Laszlo is staying on as our club treasurer. Thank you very much. Next slide, please. So here's where a couple of the some of the new, a bit of shuffling of the chairs. So John Carl, thanks very much for stepping up and taking the fundraising portfolio. Challenging, absolutely one of the most challenging roles on the board. So thank you. And I will say, when I asked John, he just said, what job do you need me to do? And he didn't bat an eye when I asked him to take on fundraising. Dave Pickering staying on.
I will admit.
So Dave Pickering staying on with the dynamic duo of Charlene and Jerry. I just want to say, although it's not likely, well, at the time we're going to have an inbound student for the start of my year, Charlene and Jerry have been board members since I've been back and on the board, and both of them are make huge contributions to the board meetings. So I'm thrilled to have them both as part of my board, and also look forward to doing some of the planning when we can get back to a time when we have exchange students both coming in and going out. A couple of new members. So Adrienne is going to be community service chair next year. Thanks very much, Adrienne. Colin Steffes, I believe Colin's on the line. Colin is going to take on international service. So again, thanks very much to you, Colin. And program director, the former club president, Andre Charrois, will be taking over from Daria. So Andre, thank you. And last slide, please. Membership. So the current membership director, Jennifer McCurdy, thank you very much for stepping up. The bar is low with the current membership director, so it's nothing but golden roads and green fields ahead of you. Sandra will become the Rotary Foundation chair. Thanks, Sandra. Matt Carter staying on as in his role of services. Thanks, Matt. Mark Moran, training wheels are off. He's going to be going solo this year. No John to lean on. Music Festival, Ian, thanks for staying on in that role. I left pending as community Rotaract Club, pending on what happens with Laura. Obviously, she'll probably get accepted at wherever that she's been applied to. But Laura, should you end up leaving, I'd like to have a conversation with you down the road, because that's what you bring to the board is valuable, and I'd like to have one to have some, even though it's not you, to bring that energy to the club board. And finally, the promotions will be done via the executive, as it's been done this year. Just in closing, I'd like to acknowledge a couple of members from this year's board who aren't a member of next year's board. It's Doug Campbell, Isabel, David Dooley, James Casaleas, and Daria. Again, becoming a member of the board is a huge undertaking. It involves an extra night of, not a month of attending board meetings, plus chairing your own committee. It's a large undertaking. A lot of the members whose names I've just mentioned have been in challenging roles, or they've been in their position for several years, and they're ready to step back and have a break. So again, Doug, Isabel, David, James and Daria, thanks very much for your service this year. Great to have you as part of our club. That's it for me, Mark. And again, thanks to everyone on my board who's stepped up and agreed to serve for next year. Look forward to it.
Nicely done. That's a great roster, and let's not thank those people who are still on the board right now too quickly, because we've still got 6 months to go. So, woohoo!
Yeah, and you'll work us like dogs, like you have been.
Better believe it. Thank you. Questions for Craig? Anyone ticked that they didn't get picked to be on the board? I get to be the old codger sitting in the back of the room. I don't know if I would have done that.
Like Saunders.
I was going to say Abe Simpson, but yeah.
Well, that's all I have on my list. Is there anything that anybody else would like us to cover this evening before we wrap things up?
President Mark, if I could just ask a question.
Yes,
of Ash Khan, actually. Just wondering how the Christmas season went and if we were able to fulfill our obligations with the gifts. And I know the food bank was in tough all year long, and I don't know if people were able to volunteer. I'm just wondering, Ash, if you can give us an update on how things went. If he's still there.
Yes, Brian. Actually, I was watching the hockey game. Brian, it was like any other year. It was just fantastic. I'd really like to thank the club for coming through again with the Christmas presents. You guys all did a fantastic job. And volunteers for assembling and sorting and handing out. We needed 10, 12. We had 16 and 20 people showing up. And we wore masks and we did social distancing. Everything was just great. So it was just like any other year. Things were fantastic. And thank you all.
Excellent. Anyone else? Well, how about we end with the four-way test of the
In
things.
all things we think, say, or do.
Is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Is
it fair
to all concerned? Will it build
Will it
goodwill?
Will it be beneficial to all
Will it be
concerned?
beneficial to all concerned?
Will it be fun?
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Mark. Thanks, everyone.
Oh,
Great
hey,
evening.
Ken. Good night. Good night. Good
Night,
night,
all.
all.
Bye, guys. Thanks, guys.
Wow. Everyone's taking off.
Time to go. My glass is empty.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here, let me share this screen.
Oh, no.
Just a live view of Maui.
You're breaking my heart.
Condo.
A needle in my eye.
Yeah, just stop that,
This
Laz,
condo
because,
Laz.
you know,
Torturing us all.
You're losing
Yeah.
the connection.
You're trolling yourself, man.
Man.
yeah, so Tammy and Scott were gracious enough to refund our money for their condo. I'm still fighting for the other $5,000 for our flights from Air Canada. Air Canada sucks.
I have basically 4 flights that might expire here in March. It's been 1 year.
Oh, well, that was the thing is they said, okay, well, we'll give you a year. And I'm like, I don't think this is going to happen in a year. I don't.
Oh, yeah, I know. I feel your pain.
I feel your pain. I was supposed to be skiing in Panorama all week this week, but no.
Well, BC is not going to shut their borders now, so we're good.
So Daryl, you can still go, Daryl.
Yeah, why are you skiing in Panorama? I'll take your spot.
Yeah, no, with another couple from Alberta, the rule list gets long.
Nah, you're okay.
And you follow the rules.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have to go shopping for new tires anytime soon.
So Stacey, I want to say thank you for all your insight and your input for our Rotary Club, and I will be touching base with you on some other things with district as well, if you're so inclined.
Yeah, Tuesday night was great. Those 2 district meetings, or what? One was his own meeting and one was a district meeting. I don't want to hang up.
Yeah, we want to do good things, but it takes a tribe. It really does.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is the group that doesn't want to hang up. We just want to hang out. Is that what this is?
Yeah.
No, you hang up first.
No, don't hang up. Don't hang up.
I'm with you.
Since we got 3
wine or beer or something, yeah.
Since we got 3 presidents kind of in the room, I would suggest, I don't know how this would work, Mark, but maybe for as far as if you don't go to the district conference, the international conference, the president should get to allocate his money wherever they choose. Like in today's, like, both you guys didn't go to the conference, but we should put it in the minutes or in our executive that, you know, if that's your gift as a Rotarian being president, and if you choose not to go, you should get that $5,000 to say, I want to do this with it. I'm giving it to this charity or that charity or whatever charity of choice.
James, I love that idea. I wish I got that option.
Suggestion. Yeah.
I was shut down.
Well, I think
I don't know what
it's not bitter.
I think
no, it wasn't bitter. That was not. I just think there shouldn't even do whatever you want with your money. Like for Jody, we should make it now. So if Jody doesn't go to international, she could send me to international, and I'll go for her or whatever she chooses.
In my year, I couldn't go, but I was shut down for that suggestion. So that's actually in the minutes.
Where were you supposed to go, Laszlo?
Yes.
I think it was
Atlanta,
but I couldn't go because so I actually went to Europe.
Right.
But it was they didn't. The board decided it was not appropriate for me to claim that, or even gift the money away.
Did you make a contribution to the music festival out of that though somehow?
You told, and that's an option, right?
That's an option.
Do whatever you want.
Shut down. It was shut down, Daryl.
Oh.
And just so you know that St. Albert here, we're
part of
lucky. You guys are very lucky because 95% of the clubs in our district do not allocate funds for the president-elect to go to any kind of international.
And it's their spouse too. We pay for the spouse, don't we?
We're super rich.
The way it was described, it's a thank you to the president for serving for the year. All right, so
it also depends on who you talk to, because I've also heard that it's the president's obligation to be representing the club at the international conference. So that's why the club is paying for that to happen. It's not necessarily a thank you, which is nice, but there's two ways of looking at it.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both, right?
It depends who you talk to.
When I was the president of the Downtown Edmonton Club, they paid for me, not Kelly. We paid for Kelly's way, but of course you have your hotel and this kind of thing already looked after. But you pay for your registrations for both of you. But you're right, Mark. There's a voting thing. How significant that is in the big scheme of things, I don't know. But there is a voting responsibility that you have for your club. But then the real value, though, comes from what you learn and what you take away from an international conference.
Oh, they're amazing.
Your eyes unbelievably about how big this onion is that's called Rotary. So
where was your international conference, Daryl?
Thailand, yeah.
Oh my God, nice.
Yeah. And so we booked for 2 weeks, and what we did is we spent a week in Phuket, and then we went into Bangkok where the actual conference was at, and spent the week with the conference. So we did book a couple of weeks so we had a little bit of R&R time as well. But that's all, that's all fair ball and stuff. But it's just the club paid for the, I guess it was the airline tickets and accommodations and the conference for me. Everything else was on our ticket, of course, for Kelly and coming along. But the learning was huge.
I can't wait to take John to an international conference. I've been to only 3, but they're amazing. They're fantastic. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I
Yeah.
mean, that when you were in those plenary sessions in Thailand, it was in like, I don't know what building this was in, but you could have parked like 6 or 8 737s in this building. It was unbelievable. 35,000 people watching screens, and if you're close enough, actually seeing the what was going on the stage, and then the speakers were like world leaders. Like,
yeah,
unbelievable. Yeah. Phenomenal experience, really.
I would say the same for the district conference. That's definitely in my top 10 Rotary moments.
There you go. I've never been to a district conference.
Yeah.
And we're still planning to do that via, electronically through Zoom. And we still have a full slate. We still have some funding dollars to do that. So we're totally on board with doing, a keynote, closing, and our sessions in between, and having some very interactive sessions that we normally wouldn't be able to do in person, but we can because of Zoom. So if you haven't signed up, or keep an eye on it, it's in the connections, it'll come out in your email. So the presidents and the president-elects and the secretaries, those are the only 3 people that get it, and they get those invites for those, and you sign up your people.
Jody, where is your international conference? Houston. Now we might get a contingent to come down with you. That might be fun.
It would be super fun.
That's an easy one to get to. Yeah.
Yeah.
From the East Coast too. Yeah, who knows where
I've
I'll
only
go.
had to stay over in the airport there.
It's a nice town.
Nice town. Yeah, it's a big town. Yeah.
There's a lot going on down there.
How far is it to
There you can get to some
Austin?
good beaches.
So Austin from Houston is about 2-hour drive.
Okay.
We've spent quite a bit of time in Texas, so yeah, it's each of those little areas, but it's about 2 hours. But Austin's a very cool place for sure.
Yeah, I've only been to San Antonio.
San
Antonio's awesome.
Yeah.
Lazo's recentering our thoughts.
Teleporting us to Maui. That's not Houston.
Oh, Lazo, stop it. Oh, that looks
He's
beautiful.
even wearing his shirt.
He always wears his shirt.
It's a sunset.
How many shirts do you have?
Yeah, the sun's going down.
This is live, right? So it's just sun's going down right now behind Lahaina or Lanai.
I think you're torturing yourself.
You're super torturing me because I'm looking at $6,000 sitting right there.
I'm sorry. Jeez. I just thought we could.
Have a good night.
Good night, Mark.
Good night,
Bye,
President.
Mark.